What's going on, guys? Nathan here, back again with another Goldfishing playtest video. I recently made a full deck tech for an Eowyn Shieldmaiden human tribal deck that aims to go wide by essentially ramping in the early game, playing Eowyn, and then copying her a bunch of times to build out a massive board state. If you haven't already seen that deck tech, check that out first, and then I recommend coming back to this video to see how it plays. You'll get a more in-depth analysis of all the individual cards and the discussion for categories in that video. But today we're just going to do two games. We're going to assume that the first game has a low level amount of interaction, and then the second game will have a board wipe between turns 5 or 6, somewhere around there. And then before we get into the playtester, I'd just like to ask, if you enjoy this type of content, leave a like and subscribe and all of that fun YouTube stuff. Alright, so let's head into the playtester here. We are in Archetype, which I believe has the best playtester out of all of the major deck building websites. We have a pretty good hand here. I'm seeing 3 lands plus an Esper Sentinel, which we can play turn 1, which is super good, into a Trinket Mage, so we can search out a Soul Ring for more ramp. Then we have a piece of protection here to protect our board with Clever Concealment, and then even a top-end spell with Titanevlet Yar, which can allow us to draw a bunch of cards. So I think this hand looks really solid here. Let me just rearrange this such that our lands are in the back, and then we're going to sort by mana cost, just because I really like to think of the mana cost here, and Clever Concealment will consider kind of a 0 cost spell. So we'll take our first turn here with game 1 and play, let's see, so we could play a Path of Ancestry tapped, or we could play an Esper Sentinel untapped. I think we actually want to give up our turn 1 play for a tapped land, because I believe that that's probably going to be better for color fixing in the long term. So we'll play a Path of Ancestry. We will go to our next turn. Because we don't have a turn 2 play, we're probably going to play an Esper Sentinel. So I think with our Flooded Strand here, we're going to continue to pip fix. So we're going to crack this for a Raugan Triumph. That will enter tap Aronis and move that to the battlefield, and that will enter tapped. Then we're going to play our Esper Sentinel, and we have a Path of Ancestry trigger to scry 1. So we're going to scry 1 here, and we'll always keep Teferi Protection on top. That's such a good protection spell. I know we probably should be digging for ramp, but Teferi's Pro is basically an extra turn spell. So Esper Sentinel, we're going to keep a conservative estimate. We're going to say this will draw us perhaps only 1 card throughout the turn cycle. So we're going to draw that and then head to our next turn here, turn 3. We're going to play our Command Tower, and we have 2 mana to go until we get to Eowyn. So I think right now we're probably going to run out this Trinket Mage, and I think we're probably going to look for a Soul Ring because we already have our Esper Sentinel on the field. So let's grab that. That will go to our hand, and then next turn we should be able to hit that Eowyn mana. Again, we're going to assume that Esper Sentinel draws us only 1 card throughout the turn cycle, and we will go next. And let's see, I did not need to discard down to hand size there because we ended it with 7. Okay, so let's play out this Exotic Orchard. We're going to go ahead and we did have the Path of Ancestry Scry trigger, but Roaming Throne I'd probably just keep on top because it's a pseudo clone, so that would have been the same game state anyway. So let's tap our Command Tower, and then we're going to run out our Soul Ring, and then I believe we then have the 5 here to then run out our commander, Eowyn Shieldmaiden. She is on the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to pass. Now we don't have any free interaction to protect her. Unfortunately, we don't have the creatures necessary to pay for Clever Concealment to make it free. Well, that's just how it goes. I think sometimes you just don't have that protection ready. So we won't get the trigger on her first casting as well either. So let's see, do I need to discard down to 7? I don't think we do. Okay, so next we can play a tapped land or an untapped land, and let's organize our cards here just to make this really neat and tidy. So Titanevlet Yara, I think we probably want to play our Roaming Throne here to start getting copies of the Eowyn triggers. If we actually run out an untapped land, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available. We probably want to be holding up some interaction, but I think maybe the play here would be to run out the Roaming Throne and then just keep mana up for Teferi's Protection or Clever Concealment. So this would, we're actually going to do this. I think this is pretty fair because then we can assume that board wipe will probably happen at this time. So we're going to tap 2 for the Soul Ring and then 2 more, and we're going to play out our Roaming Throne, and this enters as a creature type. Well, actually, hold on. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control this turn, create 2/2/2 Red Knight creature tokens with trample and haste. Then if you control 6 more humans, draw a card. The question is, does Roaming Throne count as a human entering the battlefield? I think it does, because it technically is a human, and the human has entered the battlefield. It just hasn't entered the battlefield as a human. So I think we'll get 2 of the Eowyn triggers. So we're going to go ahead and make ourselves some human knight tokens. And luckily with archetype, we can actually just copy these tokens quite easily. Create token copy. So we'll get 3 copies of this. And then we get 2 card draw triggers, because 2 Eowyn triggers will allow us to draw 2 cards, because we control 6 or more humans. So we will draw 2 cards off of this. Then let's see, we're going to hold up the 3 mana for Teferi's Protection. And I think at this point we probably would not swing, because we don't quite have the overrun that's necessary. But we will also double up on our Esper Sentinel triggers. So let's assume that Esper Sentinel draws perhaps 2 more cards for the turn cycle. So let's actually do this in order, though. Let's actually discard down to hand size. Maybe what we actually do is we toss Teferi's Pro on our own turn, so that we don't have to discard, and then we would have 7. So then we would go to our next turn. Let's say we would get 1 Esper Sentinel trigger again, but that would be multiplied with Roaming Throne, so we would get 2 cards, and then we're going to go to our next turn, turn 6. Now we do have another clone effect here and an Akroma's Will, so I think at this point in time we really just want to be running out as many lands, untapped lands, that we possibly can. So this turn, let's see how much we can actually overrun. So we know that we're going to get at least 2 Eowyn triggers in the beginning of combat. So that will make us another 4 knights, and it will draw us 2 cards. Now, if we go for, I think we might have to do 2 more turns of setup, because we would need the Auton Soldier to enter the battlefield, and then we would want to Akroma's Will next turn. So I guess, can we actually play both? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This costs 6 and this costs 4. So not quite there yet. And we already played our land for the turn. So Clever Concealment is online, which is great. We can always save this to tap our creatures to phase them out. So I think at this point, what we want to do is just flood the board as much as possible. So we're actually going to go 2 Soul Ring, and then we're going to go blue, and then we're going to go, this technically is not a human spell, so it would not proc the Path of Ancestry. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 for an Auton Soldier entering the battlefield as a copy of Eowyn. Alright, now we can't do a lot else with our remaining 2 mana, because if we were to play the Ambitious Farmhand to search us up 2 planes, which is copied off of Roaming Throne, to get the 2, then we would have to just discard them at the end of our turn. And also Expressive Iteration is not a great play at the moment, because we've already played our land, and so that the Impulse Trap portion of Expressive Iteration is not that useful right now. Unfortunately, Keep Watch is 1 mana too expensive, so I think we just hold up our Clever Concealment and just be very comfortable with where we're at for the turn. So let's go to combat. We will then make a total of, let's see. So actually, Roaming Throne will double the Auton Soldier and the Eowyn, so we will get a total of 4 Eowyn triggers, I believe. So that would make us 8 human knight copies. So we're going to create 8 oh, okay, well, we don't want to do that. And then we will resolve the card draw portion of the ability, so we will draw 4 cards. All right, so we're just going to discard a bunch of lands here. I don't think really we need our bounce lands at this point in time, so we're going to definitely discard those. We really just want untapped mana. We'll discard a plains here, and that will, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We still need to discard 2 cards. We'll keep 1 land, and I think we can maybe just discard the Deranged Assistant, because I think we're, or maybe the Ambitious Farmhand, actually. We have plenty of lands at our disposal. I don't think that we would have the ability to swing at this point in time, although this board is very formidable. But really, once again, we're holding back this Clever Concealment in order to save our board, and then hopefully overrun next turn with the Akroma's Will. So then we will go next, and then we will do, look at that, another Cursed Mirror. So if we then play out, our land, and then we play our Cursed Mirror, copying the Auton Soldier, which is non-legendary, we could get another copy of Eowyn, which is then copied by Roaming Throne, which will create a total of, let's see, 12 tokens. And then once those hit the battlefield, once we have 12 more copies of this, Archetype doesn't even go that high. That's how ridiculous this is. And then we're going to play the Akroma's Will to give everything double strike, and I believe that would be pretty much lethal by turn 7 at this point, because we'd have 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh my gosh, I can't even count. There's going to be myriad triggers with Auton Soldier. There's going to be actually 2 myriad triggers with Auton Soldier. And then so we're at least, I think, between 30 and 40 power at this point, which might be boosted even more with Akroma's Will. So I think that's a good showcase for the deck. And then we'll move into our second game here, and that's going to assume a board wipe happens on a turn 5 after we play Eowyn. So we're going to be theoretically 1 turn delayed if we don't have free interaction in our hand. All right, so this another opening hand here, we have 2 lands, 3 lands actually, with Otawara, and then we have a ramp piece with Cursed Mirror. Great. We have a tutor piece for a clone, and then a great finisher in the form of Nanogene and card draw. So once again, we are cooking with this hand. We're going to go here, and we're going to drag our lands to the left, and we're going to drag Cursed Mirror forward so that we can play that nice and easily on turn 3. So let's start our first turn here. So let's just run out, I think we just run out this mountain, and then we say pass, and then I think we go Ancient Ziggurat, and we don't play the bounce land here because we would have to discard something anyway. So then we'll go next, and then we can actually, I take it back. We're going to do a little takesy-backsies in our own playtesting environment. The Ancient Ziggurat should not have been played. The Otawara should have been played because we need the extra mana to play the Cursed Mirror. But now we can then move to our turn 3 land drop. So let's actually play this here 3 Tree City, and we'll play out our Cursed Mirror just to help ramp us a little bit. Then we'll go next, and then we'll go, I'm thinking we just go Ancient Ziggurat for the mana fixing, because now we can play Eowyn, which is turn 4. So we do have the Fierce Guardianship up. So let's actually run out Eowyn on turn 4. That is great. And then now let's see. I think that's it for the turn. So now turn 5, we're going to assume that board wipe happens. So we have to blow our Fierce Guardianship. We can play a tapped land here, but I think we probably want to do that because we don't yet have any creatures. So maybe Withered Wayfarer will actually help us get us more lands though next turn, but we do have 5 mana at our disposal. So I think we go tapped land, and then we can play our Outer Weather Wayfarer and Recruiter of the Guard. Alternatively, we could go Recruiter and keep Watch if we play the untapped land. So let's actually do that. Although next turn we might be able to leverage the Nanogene conversion. Actually, I think it's better to run out creatures so that next turn we can do Nanogene conversion, which would be absolutely sick. So let's do tapped land. So we're going to tap the mountain for, actually let's do Ancient Ziggurat for white. We'll play out our Azorius Chancery. This will go back to our hand. Then we will run out our Weathered Wayfarer and use up that 1 white. And then we have 3 mana to then play out our Recruiter of the Guard. And next turn, 3 Tree City should be online because now we have 4 humans on the board. And then let's see. So we will have an Eowyn trigger as we move to combat. So we will make 2 human knights, and we're going to make a copy of this fella. And then we will draw a card because we have, let's see, we have 6 more humans. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we don't have 6 humans. Okay. So we skip the card draw. That's totally fine. And then let's say next turn we go here. So I think we probably want to drop this Steam Events. So let's do that, which will enter untapped. Now we can play both Keep Watch and Nanogene Conversion, I believe, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if we go down 2 and we will add 5, we will get a total of 9 mana for the turn. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to be smart about how we sequence this. So let's tap the, let's see, so we played out the Steam Vents, so we're going to tap Otawara and the Mountain. We are going to then tap the 3 Tree City in order to have the mana available in our main phase, to then add, let's see, a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Okay, so we have 5 mana. We are going to play out our Nanogene Conversion. So choose target creature you control. Each other creature becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn accepted. Isn't legendary. So now all of these, we're going to pull this guy back here. All of these are now Eowyn's. That will go to the graveyard. So we will move to combat. We will now make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 2/2s. So we're going to make, so that's 10 tutus. Good Lord, are we cooking? And then we will draw a total of 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, totally refilled our hand. We still have 4 mana available. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to then swing out with all of these big boys. Maybe even, I don't know, but let's say we send 5 of them out into the fray, right? So then we will cast our Keep Watch for 3, and we'll draw a card for each attacking creature. So let's just draw 5 cards. Now, we could have drawn 15 cards, 13 cards, however much this actually is, a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have drawn 15 cards, but we're not going to do that because we're going to have to discard all of them. So let's just draw 5 cards. And now, how do we actually view full hand? Oh, look at this. I didn't even know Archetype could do this. Okay, so we will discard our, as we move to the end of our turn, let's see, we can keep, actually let's keep 1 land. So let's get rid of the desert. On our discard, let's get rid of the ancient ziggurat, go to graveyard. This will go to the graveyard. We'll keep the fetch land because it's super good. Ninth, we don't really need the ramp at this point in time. And we do have some life gain with Mangara and Soul Warden, so let's actually keep, so we need to get rid of 1 more card here. We've got a bunch of protection. We probably don't need the Mangara. Well, I will say, because the Soul Sisters can just get us all the life gain in the world at this point. And we have Clever Concealment up to protect our board. So I think we just get rid of the Mangara because we're not hurting on cards. Let's send that to the graveyard as well. So let's assume that somebody tries to board wipe us. We have to use that, and we go to our next turn. Oh my gosh, we'd have to tap Azorius Chancery to tap the 3-tree city to generate us 20 mana. Who cares what it is? So if we go Spark Double, copying the Eowyn, then we would play out the Soul's Attendant, so that we would get with Cathars Crusade, Soul's Attendant, and Spark Double on the field. That would make us at least 4 humans. So that, and then that will with the Soul Warden. Oh, and then we can also run out the actual Soul Warden instead of Soul's Attendant. Cathars Crusade would trigger twice, and then at the beginning of combat, we would then generate 4 more humans to give our creatures a further +4/+4. So now our creatures are basically +6/+6 off of the Cathars Crusade. So that's where we're able to probably swing out for lethal here by turn 7. So we're going to go boom, and then we're going to go boom. All right, and then we can even swing out with our massive first striker with Eowyn Shieldmaiden here, and we would probably have enough mana with our giant 3-tree city mana to then play out a Teferi's Pro, completely phase out, and next turn we would swing again for the win. So that's how this deck works. Again, lethal by turn 7 or turn 8 on average usually. So hopefully you guys got a good idea of how the deck works, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. But I think here's where I will wrap up the video. So thank you all for watching. Again, if you like this video, leave a like on it and subscribe to see more awesome deck techs and playtesting videos from me. And that's where I will end the video. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all in the next one.